hunter walks back into camp, carrying the body of an animal it took hours to track and kill. There's no refrigerator waiting, no grocery store down the road, no way to save this for later. 30 hungry people are watching. And here's the question that trips up almost everyone who thinks about this for the first time. Who eats first? Your instinct probably says the strongest person, the best hunter, maybe a chief, someone who fought his way to the top. That instinct is wrong, and it's wrong in a way that says a lot about what humans actually are, underneath all the hierarchy we've built since. Let's start with the research. Anthropologists studying groups like the Hadza in Tanzania and the Jew hoansi in Botswana found something almost the opposite of what you'd expect. Meat from a large kill doesn't go to the strongest or the most senior person first. It gets divided according to strict, often complicated rules, sometimes including people who weren't even part of the hunt, people who stayed back to care for children or gather plants instead. The person who threw the killing blow doesn't automatically get the best piece. In many groups, they don't get to decide the division at all. In 1990, anthropologist Richard Lee documented something he called demand sharing among the Jew hoansi, and it comes packaged with a practice that sounds almost backwards. When a hunter returns with a big kill, the group doesn't praise him. They insult the meat. They say it's thin, it's not worth the trouble. Lee called this practice insulting the meat, and it's deliberate. A successful hunter who starts acting proud becomes a problem for the group. Lee himself learned this the hard way, buying an entire ox for a group as a gift, and being told repeatedly it was a worthless, bony animal. This is what anthropologists call a leveling mechanism, and it shows up across hunter-gatherer societies worldwide. If one person starts believing they deserve more because they're better at hunting, that's the seed of inequality. Great hunters are mocked, not celebrated, specifically so no one gets the idea that they're owed anything extra. Anthropologist Christopher Boehm described this pattern as a reverse dominance hierarchy, where the group actively works to keep any single individual from rising above everyone else. So if it's not about strength or skill, who actually determines the order? Often it comes down to role and vulnerability rather than dominance. Pregnant and nursing women who need extra calories to support a developing or feeding child are frequently prioritized. Elders, who hold decades of accumulated knowledge the group depends on, are given respect in the distribution. Children eat. Everyone eats. The division isn't about who's strongest. It's about who needs what. And underneath all of this is something even more practical than fairness for its own sake: reciprocity. Anthropologists call it social insurance. Today, you had a successful hunt, and you're sharing generously. Next month, you might come back empty-handed for weeks. If you'd hoarded your kill today, no one would feel obligated to share with you tomorrow. Sharing isn't charity, it's survival math, played out over months and years. A system where generosity now guarantees you don't starve later. So let's reconstruct what this actually looked like. The hunter returns to camp, and immediately, before any praise happens, someone makes a joke about how scrawny the animal is. The hunter, if they know the social rules, downplays their own success right back, insisting the animal practically walked into the spear itself. The animal is brought to a central spot in camp, and butchering begins, often by people other than the hunter, which itself is a small but important check on power. Portions are divided according to established rules everyone already knows without needing to discuss them, rules absorbed since childhood. Certain cuts go to specific relatives by custom. Others go to whoever helped track or carry the animal back to camp. The elderly and the pregnant receive priority portions. Children are fed, and by the time everyone eats, no single person has visibly taken the best piece for themselves. The entire process is watched by the group, socially monitored, and anyone who tries to take more than their share faces immediate, unambiguous social pressure. Then, around 10,000 years ago, agriculture changed the math entirely. Farming produces surplus, food that can be stored instead of eaten immediately. Once food could be stockpiled in a granary rather than shared the same day it was caught, The entire leveling system that kept hunter-gatherer groups equal started to break down. Whoever controlled the stored grain controlled who ate and who didn't. Chiefs, kings, and eventually entire economic systems grew directly out of this. Ownership replaced reciprocity. Hierarchy replaced leveling mechanisms. The insulting of successful hunters disappeared, because success no longer needed to be humbled. Today, who eats first is decided by money, by status, by who can afford to walk into a store and buy whatever they want, whenever they want it. No group oversight, no social pressure keeping anyone humble about how much they have compared to everyone else. Ancient humans had a system that actively prevented exactly this kind of imbalance, built on mockery, monitoring, and a shared understanding of reciprocity. So the next time you're standing in a grocery store aisle or waiting for a table at a restaurant, remember that for roughly 300,000 years, humans built entire systems designed so being the best hunter never meant eating better. They didn't need laws for this. They just needed each other, a habit of insulting the meat, and a memory long enough to remember who shared with them.